Best of Discourse boils over on Twitter, and we've got story time for Bologna in Vegas on this week's episode of The Winning Point.
Wait, is this the cold open, or is this the top 8 of the RQ Vegas featuring Casanova and Pastry Time?
Hey, yo.
Special guest Charmer, and also me.
Yeah.
It would be the top 4 if we were all Draven.
It would be.
That's true.
Oh.
Cass needs more facial hair for that, I think, but we're getting close.
Yeah.
The League of
fluctuates.
Draven. It's crazy. 5 of the top 8 have the same voice actor.
Wow.
It's crazy. Little known fact: Jax and Draven have the same voice actor.
That is true.
Or at least did at some point.
At some point in time.
At some point in time, it was The Winning Point, episode 33, I think. I have
Sounds
Six,
no...
man. 36.
36?
We are...
What?
Yeah. That wasn't even close. That wasn't even...
I have no idea what episode it is. Definitely season 2, episode 2, though. That I do know. That's 100% sure. I am
That one's probably not even
Blevins. Over there is Casanova. Down there is Charmer. And over there is Pastry.
That's
What's
me.
up, everybody?
Hello.
I'm moving. I don't
all
have
tired,
the
I think.
normal background. I got boxes of shit. I'm out of here. Yeah. So I've been really busy. I'm moving back to the good old Midwest. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Love it.
I'm great.
Love it.
Now that I'm back home, I read from the event back was a little bit rough because I essentially landed 4:30 a.m. my time. It's like 2 hours to get back home, and then I was shower and prepare for work, and then work all day, and then after that, I had a call about casting an upcoming Riftbound event for some folks that's going to be really exciting, and then I finally got to sleep. So now that I've had a day to recover, I feel great.
Love it. I still feel like I'm getting back from Bologna, which is crazy because there's been a whole other regional qualifier since then, and I'm still like catching up from that. So and Cass, you were at both. So
That's true.
this is gonna be a bit of a vibe episode, if that's a thing. It's definitely not, but it is now. We took last week off because of craziness in between events. We're now all back from the events, at least for now, so we can talk about said events. Starting off with RQ Bologna, which was really awesome. At least for me. I know Cassie. We spent a lot of time walking through the event, and I mean this in the best way possible. We could not walk anywhere without being mobbed by fans and people
Europeans
coming up and saying things, which was awesome. Which was just absolutely amazing. Really awesome. I gave out about 100 of the tokens that I made, which were definitely not just my business card with a poorly printed, awesome art, but poorly printed on my end, turn them sideways recruit token. It was definitely not just a business card. But yeah, it was awesome. Cass, how did you enjoy Bologna?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, as you said, I could not move around the venue without getting stopped, which was incredible. I really liked meeting everybody and was really happy to do so. You can definitely stop me at events. I do not mind. It is fun. I will always talk for a little bit, and then if I need to go, I'll just tell you. That's just how it is. So, but yeah, no, it was really, really nice. I think my event didn't go how I would have loved as far as a player, but that's what it is. I decided to bring a deck that is not the best deck in the room. I decided to bring Fiora instead, potentially play for a best of. And I got struck by lightning twice on day one. I ran into my worst matchup, which is Set. Basically, you just can't kill his guys as Fiora. You have like a couple copies of Challenge and then a couple dragons. And if they don't line up perfectly on the turn to like kill Brawler, he's just like actually invulnerable. But that shouldn't be a problem because there's only like 25 sets in the entire room. And there's no world that you'll like run into multiple. Well, I ran into multiple. So I ran into 2 sets. So my day ended, or my weekend ended a little early on day 1. But my teammates did incredible. The players that I prepped with Alan and Randy and Freaks, and Prismat, and 3 of them made the top 8, and Alan won on Ezreal. So as a team, it was really great. I was the player who decided to go for a best of instead, and you see all your friends. I'm like the Squidward looking outside at SpongeBob and Patrick playing, and I'm like, hey, maybe I should have brought Draven or Ezreal, because it turns out we were pretty ahead, I think, for Bologna. And I think the other at the end of the day, though, it let me have Sunday off to like wander the hall and talk to people that were excited about Turn 'Em Sideways, and to go and do some creator sealed with Blevins, and to go just like watch the event and watch the rounds. I was standing at the top tables when Randy like won his win it in, and so I ran up and I'm mobbing him and telling him I'm very proud of him, and it's just like a good experience that I haven't been able to like have for a minute for a card game tournament. So I had a lot of fun. I do want to call out one exact very funny story that happened that I will probably remember forever, in vain with the people recognizing us everywhere. Is I was walking back from getting dinner with the people I was staying with. I was staying with some of my Flesh and Blood teammates, and we're like turning the corner to get to our Airbnb, and this guy like basically walks up, like how how in any big city someone would walk up to you and try and sell you like something illicit. But what he says is, hey, are you guys looking to buy a metal Teemo? And it's like, and this is not at the venue, by the way. This is, it's like 8 to 10 minute walk away. But he's like, hey, you guys looking to buy a metal Teemo? And then, so that's frame 1. And we're just like, huh? Frame 2 is the guy goes, oh wait, hey, that's the streamer, and sort of points at me. And all it was just us losing our minds, laughing on the way home. We were like, look, if we stayed for frame 3, he would have then offered us like an illicit substance probably at that point. You start with the Teemo, then there's the streamer, then whatever. But it was just so funny. And this is like 11 p.m. in the streets of Italy, like absolutely beautiful cinema.
Have we gone, are we like past like fake designer like Gucci bags on the street corner? It's just like metal Teemos and stuff standing like outside. Hey, you guys want a metal card? I got a metal Gragas from set 10.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I do actually want that. Whoops, I revealed another thing. And I'm gonna get us canceled. There was a lot of crazy stories from Bologna. I will hold at 2 here. One is just a call out of Randy, not only top 8ing but also top weighting by providing us with 8 pizzas at a time when we were literally considering leaving the grand finals to go get pizza, and we turn around and Randy's just like, you guys want some pizza? It literally brought 8 pizzas for the homies. It was amazing. Actual goated moment at that point. And then the other one is after Alan wins, he walks out from behind the back. Cass and I are like right there where he walks out. We go over, give him a hug. I take a selfie with him right as we're hearing, and our winner, Alanzq. So if you notice on the stream, he didn't show up at the beginning. It's because Cass and I were taking a selfie with Alan.
Come on, Blev.
The funny part is, I don't know why he left the stage. They weren't done with him. I don't know. I when he walked out, I was like, oh, they're done. Right? Like everything's done. Like he's out of backstage, out of everything. And then we hear it. We're like, wait, Alan, you have to go. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Love that guy.
So good. Yeah. But overall, I mean, absolutely amazing event. I mean, cannot suggest enough, if you have the chance to go to an RQ, it is worth it. Everyone that I've talked to at all levels, from like, I just played side events, I just went for vibes, I played in the main, blah blah blah, like for the most part everyone that I talked to had a really great time. But that was not the only regional qualifier. You all also went to Vegas. Charmer, what was your Vegas experience like?
Nobody stopped me. Nobody recognized me. No, I'm just kidding. I was actually very surprised because I'm usually unrecognizable. That's not like me being self-deprecating. There's actually a running bit that I have where people will say like, hey, don't I know you, or don't you do something? And even this weekend I had a lot of the like, hey, aren't you that guy, or aren't you part of the winning point? Sorry, I forgot what your name is, right? But I still had a lot of people stop and say hello. I gave out a lot of stickers. I gave out tokens. I took a Yasuo deck to play in the main event. I was going to try to get a best of. I got mentally tilted after essentially what was my first round of the day. I got a bye round 1, and then round 2, I ran into a Draven, and I was prepared for standard Draven lists. I played against somebody that had 3 main deck Thunder Songs, and they played all 3 against me game 1. So it's not even just like that they had them. I knew they had them like from the get-go. And it just like I unraveled after that. So I didn't play as well as I would have liked. I did hang out. I played in essentially like every round, but I believe the last round. But I was watching the top tables, and once there was one Yasuo that made day 2, and I was on X3, and so I was kind of just keeping an eye on their win rates. And once they locked, I dropped. But my wife got to go with me, so we walked around Vegas, made an evening of it, and then day 2 was much better. And if I'm being entirely honest, it's what I needed. I was really down about not performing well. So I walked around and I talked to people. Everybody was wonderful as expected. And then we worked out a deal with Diana from Riot. Shout out to Diana, who's amazing. Where
True.
I could sit in the card slinging area, even though I was not scheduled to be there. They were kind enough to oblige and give me a spot at a table. And we just shared like, hey, come play Charmer. And if you beat him, we'll give you one of the Turn 'em Sideways mats, which if you have not seen them, we have 2 new ones. There's an amazing Draven one. There's an outstanding Irelia one. They're fantastic. And then I proceeded to win a bunch of games. So on the one hand, like I felt really bad that we were like, come win a mat. And then I start actually playing well. And like, not even like a little bit, like I was kind of bodying people. But it was both good, like I think for my mental, just to be like, okay, I guess I don't like horribly suck, but also everyone was so kind, even with me winning. Like they were so upbeat that it was infectious. And I had great conversations with folks, and they were asking me, you know, because I was playing Yasuo. It's obviously not a traditional deck. I also should make that clear. I played the same deck I played in the main event. I didn't like, okay, you have to play Charmer, but now I'm playing a real deck. I just played Yasuo. But people were like asking me about, you know, decisions I was making and how I was piloting it, and they kept complimenting me, and it was honestly just something that I really needed. But the event was outstanding. The venue was for having, if you're not aware, for having over 1,600 players in the main event, and then also side events and everything else going on. Venue was spacious enough. I never felt cramped, which always feels great at these things. As somebody who's from the north, I appreciated that it was cold in the venue. A lot of other people said it was chilly, but I felt perfect. So I really have nothing negative really to say about my experience. It was great.
Yes, that is all true for the venue, except for the day 1 bathroom experience, which was unbelievably crowded. Got much better on day 2. I was able to get to the bathroom with efficiency from the Casa desk and back, which is kind of my thing. League games are generally like an hour. Riftbound is like generally an hour-ish, depending on how the run's going. And you can audibly hear me breathing very heavily between a round because I sprinted in the 3-minute break from the Costage to the bathroom, basically showing people my badge, being like, I'm sorry, I'm on the stream. I need to use the bathroom. And just pushing past the line for the toilet. But I made it. And I think I made it so that my co-caster had to pick up the CTA, but it worked out fine.
I didn't catch that. I didn't know that happened. That's very funny.
Really? Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I was like, hey, correction, can we add a minute to the break table? They're like, yes. I'm like, perfect. Yeah. And then the bathroom wasn't even that crowded on day 2. So it was very chill. And by the time we got late, it did not matter. I could waltz over there basically because there was no one in the hall except for us and people playing top 8.
But you should have been used to sprinting in between segments, because you would run right after the game finished and interview the winner, and then run right back.
Exactly,
like it was almost instantaneous.
I got a lot of practice.
It took me What I will just say is an embarrassing amount of time to realize that
Come on, Blevins.
the winners interviews were pre-recorded, like or blind recorded rather.
You just
Because I like obviously I knew that the matches were delayed or whatever, like delayed in terms of recording, but then I'm like, oh yeah, they interview them right after. I'm like, hey, wait a second, wait, they're right back, wait. And then my mind fried for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, no, I figured it out. It's magic. That's
shout outs to this B-roll of his amazing playmats, by the way. I wish Prisma had won, then we would have sold even more mats. But you should go check them out.
They're still really not even live on the site. They'll be live on the site like maybe when this airs, a little bit after when this airs, probably.
Whenever they're live, get on the site.
Yeah,
because you will want one, and there will only be so many.
That is true.
Yeah,
no more pre-orders.
I really do want
limited quantities.
Really do want that Draven mat.
Yeah. Yeah, Vegas was so much. I mean, I love being back on the desk.
I'm
casting.
so tired.
I got to share the stage with Julian this time, and by share the stage, I mean we took turns. Because we have this curse where we will be on a show together, and then never actually get to cast any games together. This I don't even remember where this bit started, Julian, or how many times it's actually happened. It's probably not been that many times, but I do feel like we dodge each other like crazy. Like
in person, I think that's true. Online, we've definitely done games together.
Yeah, we have online. We for sure have, but
in person, it's at least twice, including Vegas. I don't know if there's any other events, but there's been a lot, so I'm probably missing one.
I think we dodged each other a little bit online, but like
also
it would be shows. Like it'd be like, yes, I'm doing this seasonal. Oh, you're not doing this one. You're doing the next one, and I'm not. I see. Yes, there's a lot of that. I think. Yeah. Sorry, Charmer. Go ahead.
I swear you guys did. I was just gonna say, I swear you guys did one of the Runeterra ones.
Yeah, we definitely
for sure we did one. Yeah, for
the
sure.
first one, I think.
Yeah.
At least the first
one.
Probably
no, I was behind the scenes on the first one, but
sorry, not the first season, but like the first one we both worked. I feel like we commented together.
That's probably true. That is probably.
Oh, definitely
true.
not the first one. I was Jeff Huglen as my partner the whole time.
Yeah.
The trip.
But still, one day, Pastry and I will cast the game together. But as of now, it was still just nice having you also on the show, and I felt like you and RC did a really great job. Had a lot of good energy, and it was really fun for me working with Jim Davis. We had gotten to do some like little collabs with him in Vegas, funny enough, but just for during the SCG and a different event. And I really liked working with Jim. I think that he is just very knowledgeable and smart about the way he communicates about the game, and I think it made it really easy for me to just then like yap about my special interest, as it were, which is games of Riftbound, because he was like just very excited to have like a wealth of knowledge next to him that he could pull from. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think, Julian, I think you expressed this similar idea, and I'll let you put it in however words you want to as well, but for me it definitely feels like home. You know, it's like being in the booth casting. It feels like what I'm like meant to do, and it's like a rare feeling that you get in your life where you're like doing something that gives you that feeling. And so I'm really glad that I get the opportunity to do that, and I'm really glad that people seem to enjoy the content or what I'm doing, what we're doing as well, which is why, like, you know, people coming up in Bologna, coming up in Vegas, like, to me, this is not something I've had happen, and I've been like, not to this extent. Like, I've been in the public eye for like 12 years, pro player, caster for many different games. And, you know, when I was a Pro Heroes player, I could walk around BlizzCon and get swapped maybe twice total my whole trip. Or like casting TFT, like I could go around at one of the big TFT events and get stopped, you know, just a few times. And then this was just like overwhelming in the amount of support and excitement. And I just want to thank you guys all for watching, or listening, or whatever. Yeah, it's just really nice. I appreciate it.
+2.
Yeah, Julian, I don't know how did it feel to be back in the booth?
Feels great. It's funny. I did like an online Magic tournament like the end of last year, just kind of randomly. It was like just for store credit, which was actually kind of hype because turns out, you know, store credit to a LGS that sells cards and ships them to my house is like very similar to cash for me personally.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say that's sometimes better than cash because it doesn't feel like you're spending real money.
Yeah, exactly. And that, even just that Magic game I've interfaced with for a long time but never got to commentate. Just that was like, oh, I reminded myself how much I missed commentary, and I think I knew it deep down, but I never like expressed that. And so since then, I kind of was like, okay, let's like figure it out. And I had some opportunities just kind of come my way, like by happenstance since then. And so I think kind of perfectly overlapping the Venn diagram of League of Legends and card games, which is like basically my entire life. If you look at it, yeah, it was a pretty wonderful experience. Would hope to be back for the future RQs. I will fly to some very far away places, Riot Games or UVS or whoever's running these things. I will get on planes to yap about your game. But
I've
the
been
game's
known to get on
great.
planes as well. Yeah, I'm down.
Yep. Known plane enjoyers. The fact I will say a week between events in Europe and NA is like kind of insane, but and it's happening again for Lille and Atlanta.
It's happening
but
for all of them basically.
I don't know what's going on. Like Sydney, Vancouver has like a little bit more room, I think, between the two. I was like looking at the roadmap, but in general, it's like absolutely insane how these events are chained together. I don't know specifically why these decisions got made, but I think it makes for a great. It's great for like people who want to sit at home and watch games. I think. Because there's always something for you to watch kind of in season. But for people traveling between events, especially if you're playing, it's like absolutely wild.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alan was like horribly sick at Vegas. Like, not horrible. Okay, like, I shouldn't say it like that. No. He was like, he was extremely jet lagged on very little sleep and potentially like leading towards a sinus infection. He couldn't tell. He just like wasn't, there was something was not right with my boy. And he still top 8'd, but you know, it's just for sure it was like the quick turnaround of Bologna then immediately going was rough. I mean, even for me, I felt it too. Like I didn't feel like I was sick or anything. I just felt like, you know, okay, this was a lot. Spending all that time in Bologna, I lost my voice there. Basically got it back the day I arrived in Vegas, and then I'm in Vegas, which is notably, if you've never been to Vegas where you had to talk a lot, it's real quick that your voice starts to get shredded by the dry air. You try and keep hydrated, but it just like it can be tough to not lose your voice in Vegas. I'm generally pretty good at not losing my voice from casting. Bologna got me because I was yapping with people nonstop in a crowded convention hall. Casting, I'm usually pretty okay about protecting my voice and doing it in a way that's safe. But in Vegas, without fail, I will like lose somewhat of my voice by the end of the event. It is just like the nature of the beast in casting in the desert.
Yeah.
It sounds, I was just going to say, it sounds similar to the experience that I had where I was sick for a bit, and then I had to do, during Bologna, when you were there, I had to do the event for the other card game that Sam got to produce on, and he got to hear me deal with my voice like literally all weekend long. And then I got home and I got it healed enough just to turn around and go to Vegas, and it's much drier in Vegas than it definitely is in Michigan because I'm surrounded by water, and I was feeling it by the end of the weekend as well. So it sounds very similar to the experience I had, Cass.
Yeah.
There is something about just being in the like slightly, just like the dull roar of the convention center and talking to people. It's like you're yelling the whole time.
Yep.
And it didn't really hit me until I recorded a video like the last day and like did like a vlog and listened back to it. And I'm like, hey guys, this is Blevins, and the convention's over, and this is what I sound like now, apparently. And it's like, oh wow, I actually have a really cool voice at that octave. Maybe I should scream more often, which I actually used to do back when I open packs for a living. You got to be excited all the time, and you can convey excitement via yelling. But yeah, I mean, overall,
convey excitement via, yeah. That's an all-timer quote. Yes,
it's just true. Let me tell you, people enjoy it. Like getting excited for for people's opens. It's fun and very painful if you do it the wrong way, which I constantly did. Instead of like learning the proper techniques of protecting your voice,
just do it wrong.
You just build callus on your vocal cords over time. That's what those. Yeah, doctors call them polyps, but I call them calluses. Don't do this at home, kids. Do it in a studio.
Fun lore drop. The way that I used to lose my voice casting, and then I started going and doing vocal training for like singing metal music. And after that, I never lost my voice just like purely from casting again. There was always some kind of outside factor that would give me. But yeah,
that makes sense. I
too
do that. I too picked up singing, not not unclean vocals, but I picked up singing as like a fun thing to do that also that would help with like casting. And it turns out the way you sing cleanly is not the same as how you speak when commentating. In fact, they're almost exact opposites. Like you, commentating is all about consonants and singing is all about vowels. So I learned a bunch about singing, really fun, and I enjoyed my time immensely, and I became a better singer. But it did not actually help me with commentary the way that I hoped it would. I guess with like thinking about breathing maybe a bit more.
Yeah,
I kind of already did that as a speaker. So
like there could be like a musicality to the rhythm of how you cast.
Yeah, but like that's true. But like that's more your like general music sense than like, do you understand vocal technique, right?
All these things are completely foreign to me. I don't.
That's true.
I don't have a music brain at all.
Just
here. I got
excited.
you. He's spitting. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. He's for sure. Like, yeah. I mean, I get it because it felt like it helped, but not necessarily 1-to-1. It was like a very useful cross training. That was also fun. Really, really fun.
You know what else is fun? Hook Leona.
That's true.
My new special interest. My goodness. I will say there's nothing like a big Riftbound event to get you excited about building more decks. There are so many sweet decks at this event. And every round I felt like I was getting rewarded for getting to watch sweet matches of Riftbound that I also got to talk over sometimes, and then immediately stealing deck lists that got posted on Twitter for my own.
Yeah. It was the craziest series of like matches, Julian, because it was like my special interest deck from Origins is Leona, and like round 2 with me not on camera is a Leona mirror.
Yeah,
and then
with a professional Magic player on coverage that Jim I think highlighted. And
yes, exactly. Yeah. A professional Magic player that like Jim wanted to cover, and then Leona mirror, and we're sitting backstage like, what is going on? Like, but I think you guys did an awesome job because it was a really fun match. So it's just like I think y'all's energy for this match was perfect, and then. What's funny is like 2 rounds later, so like we get on, we do our rounds, and then I come off the round, and it's my Fab teammate playing Shovel Sivir that I helped Randy build. Like, that helped to refine. Randy built it. I'm not taking any credit from Randy, but I helped him refine. I worked on the deck with him for a really long time. And then the other side is Aikido versus Alan, which are just like 2 of my very closest friends in an Ezreal mirror for a deck that I played against 1,000,000 times. And I'm sitting here like, I want to get me in there. But I got my Alan match later. It was good. I got the Alan versus Colin match, which was probably the match of the event in my mind as far as just like masterclass of Riftbound. But yeah, it's just it was really funny for me that it was like my special interest deck, the Leona. Like I'm sitting backstage helpless. Like all I want to do is talk about it. So me and Jim just talked about it the entire time. Our own little thing.
So funny story about the Alan Colin match. So I did, I don't want to call it a co-stream. It was more like a mini watch party, which was basically me turning the stream on and talking to chat during the matches that you guys are casting on the Term Sideways channel, which was a lot of fun. We had a nice little group that was basically razzing me. I was quite tired because it was very late for me. And then I ended the night with the Alan Colin match. That was when I'm cutting it because I like after it was like I watched that. I was so intensely focused on the match, and then I like snapped back and I'm like, oh God, I've been streaming this whole time, haven't I? And I look over at chat and they're like, yeah, you basically like said like every like 15 minutes and that was it. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's time for me to go to sleep.
Nice.
That was the most amazing match I've ever seen, and I did not talk about it at all. I was just so locked in that I could not, I just could not focus anywhere else, including on the chat that was trying to talk to me the whole time. So that was great.
Yeah, those some good games. I got Ari on stream. I feel like I got everything I wanted except Yasuo as far as things I got to look at and cover with my own eyes. But the Ari deck is crazy good. I will say, like, not only I've kind of held the line that Spirit 4 has made the game significantly better, which I think is true. Like the games are so much more interesting now, but people are getting much better at playing and building decks very quickly. Like the things I saw in this event, I looked at some things and I was like, wow, this person has been very thoughtful about how they put this deck together. I think the Best of Ari list in particular really stuck out to me as when I saw that list, I was like, this doesn't look like it makes any sense. But this person's like EXO. So either they're an absolute muppet and they're just luck-sucking their way to victory, or someone really put a lot of time into how this deck works. And turns out it was the latter. And this is like, from the things I've seen so far, maybe the best designed Riftbound deck I've seen ever in this game's very short history.
Was very excited when this list was put up because I felt vindicated. One of the things I've been saying for a while, and I've said it on this show, is that while I still don't think that Ari, I think that you can win with it. Obviously, this player did phenomenal with the list, but I think that Ari does still struggle. But one of the ways that I think Ari got significantly better with this set was with the addition of cards like Sterix Gauge. Like, I've been beating that thump in our Discord, on the show, whatever. So I was happy to see someone else playing it. I'm a big fan of Janna because outside of Not So Fast, it gets around the counter spells, right? Because it's a unit. And I was happy to see Janna get some use. I've been saying, Thwonk, it doesn't have to be like a 3 of, but Thwonk is a hell of a card in the right situation. And that was in here, right? So when I saw this list, I was like, this is a lot of the stuff that I've been trying, but much to what you're saying, Pastry, I think that this just got the right ratios.
Yeah.
I think that's been my biggest problem as I've been trying to test Ari, is that I feel like sometimes when you're testing, you throw too many copies of a card into a deck because you just want to make sure you get the scenarios to pop up. And then when it doesn't work out, you abandon the card instead of just like lowering the amounts or playing with the ratios. And this one just felt very deliberate.
Yeah. Also a masterclass in picking good battlefields. These 3 battlefields don't look like they belong in any deck, let alone this one. But they're all very, very like again, if you look at this deck, you look at those battlefields and you think, okay, this person's either a genius or they're completely insane. And it's like very, very thoughtful as far as the choices go.
Fluffed. Did they just take their pre-rift kit and
maybe
put an Ari?
So I actually think it's like one of the best battlefields in the game for any deck that doesn't their legend doesn't exhaust. Basically, like if your legend,
absolutely,
if your legend doesn't exhaust for anything or like doesn't need to be exhausted, then Forge is like it's what's funny is like Forge just means that you also get to have the Ornn legend, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's great when you just get to use it, but when you have a power hungry deck like Ari, so like that's always been the other part of it, right? Is that Ari tends to chew up a lot of power just because the most powerful stuff, I mean, rightfully so, eats a lot of your calm rooms. Charm is a great card. Defy, Not So Fast. Again, I was talking about Sterix Gauge. That's 2 just when you cast it, and then if you also have to pay to re-equip it, it adds up fast. So I love Forge. I think it's perfect for this list.
No, for the record, I was not saying it was bad in this. I was just, my first look at it is like, they just opened their pre-riff kit and threw in 3 battlefields.
Of course.
Because this looks, I mean, obviously Vile Lair is not in Spirit Forge, but it's like, I had Paper Tree and Forge of the Fluffed in my pre-riff kit. Like that was just 2 of the 3 battlefields that I opened, so I played them. But no, I think that this actually brings up or ties into a topic that I've been discussing on Twitter, and not a lot of my tweets get a lot of traction for the good.
Unless you open signature over numbers, then it's to
unless I open signature over numbers and kill Riftbound and before the set even comes out, or when I subtweet people complaining about good things, which is I have seen a number of different people, so it's not just calling out one channel or group or person. It's people have been complaining about what I'll just classify as metal card hunters in the event, because it dilutes the pool of decks that you reasonably need to test against if you are a top player. Where if you're going to a Magic event or a Fab event, it's like, okay, there's like 3 to maybe 5 decks that you need to test against at the top, and then if you play against anything else, basically it's a fluke, or you are X2 or something like that. Like if you are XO X1, basically the range of decks that you're going to play in any given high level tournament. That is not necessarily the case for Riftbound right now, because you can be on day 1, especially, like you can be XO and play against literally any deck or any legend in the entire game, which to me is amazing. Like, that is awesome. And we've talked about it on the show a million times. I've harped about it basically from the rooftops, that like the metal card meta that is formed because of it is the best thing, the coolest thing, the most unique thing about Riftbound organized play. It literally gets me excited about playing in these types of events, which I have essentially retired from. Like, if it was just go play a Magic Grand Prix, unless it's limited, I'm just not doing it. Like, I will watch, I'll play side events, I'll do anything else but play in the main event. I am excited to play in the main events now because I want to be able to play these other decks. Like, I have found a love for Lucian right now, and I'm iterating. I'm in the lab with Mo and some others on Lucian for skirmish season and for Leal. So all of that is because of the metal cards, and not just for the love of winning a big event, because that's not me anymore.
Yeah, I have like a few thoughts, and I'll try and keep it a little bit brief because I probably could myself talk for an hour, and that's the allotted time for the whole podcast. But I think like one thing to think about it initially is these are also just like essentially Grand Prix, right? These are qualifiers for the big event.
Yep.
I have to imagine, and I honestly hope so, and I could be wrong, that regionals, worlds, that kind of stuff probably doesn't have medals, and instead is focused primarily on
something else.
What is like the Apex level stuff.
Yes.
Right. And I hope it to be. I hope it's split format, but that's besides the point. That's not related to this, right?
Yep.
But like when it comes to this like GP level event, like yeah, there should be this like fun incentive for people to play other decks is amazing. And if you are a Spike, like if you are a player who is someone who is capable of winning the main event, and you're playing the tier 0 deck or the best deck in the room, then these like other side legends shouldn't matter. And if you decide to opt in to the metal hunt yourself to shoot for EV or whatever if you want, then like yeah, you are gonna run into other people who do that, and that's gonna make it harder to do that. Like what I took away from mine is I was metal hunting for Fiora, right? And I got murdered by people metal hunting for Set because it's a matchup that I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about it. It's it's a bad matchup for me, but there won't be that many. And guess what? I got unlucky, and I ran into a couple sets, and I lost. And that is what it is. Like that's you opt into that when you're opting into this side of things, and I don't think that's like a problem. I think that's just like this will happen. I don't know about any of you, and I imagine that most of these people have experienced this and probably don't think much about it. But have you ever gone to like a major or a PT and you've been on the best deck in the room and you've hit a random rogue deck that you have like a slightly low matchup percentage into, that if they hit any other deck in the field, they're going to just like lose immediately. But if they hit specifically the deck you're playing, like they have a very good matchup. I feel like if you've played enough high level events, this has absolutely happened all the time. Like this is not like a new experience, a new thing that exists. Now, will it happen more often because of medals at this like GP level event? Like, yes, but currently the first two formats have had very like matchup resilient decks that you can play. Like, just take your free wins and be happy about it. Like if you're playing Draven at the top level, like yeah, you should beat the people playing for medals. And you can argue that, wow, that doesn't feel fair that this Draven got to beat a bunch of metal players and I had to play a bunch of other Dravens. Well, sorry. I mean, that's just how like any tournament run goes. Sometimes people just hit like a very like blessed run and they hit the matchups that they want. And it is what it is. Like I'm not going to argue with the people's like factual basis that it's more likely you'll hit these like weird runs and the variance in runs will be different. That is just like factually correct. My argument is like it doesn't really matter. Like if you're good enough to spike, you're going to spike regardless. And like if not, then like yeah, just keep trying, keep playing. Or if you play for a medal, then like yeah, you might lose out on your medal because your run was way more cursed than the other person. I didn't win Fiora because I played 2 sets and then I lost to one Draven on the day 1. Like I think if any of the other Fioras hit that run, they're also going to have that problem, and they can sit around and bitch and say that they're like super unlucky and someone else got a cursed run, or it's like, oh, it's fine, I had a bad run. I'll be back at Lil and I'll try again for either a different medal or, I mean, for me, I think I'm probably mostly playing for medals, and I think it's in my mind, I'm like, I just enjoy these decks more, and I'm putting it into the atmosphere that maybe I'll be casting the regionals and I wouldn't be allowed to play anyway. So who needs to qualify? But yeah, it's like I know I'm in a different shoes than people who are like in their like full competing and trying to make competing their like full-time thing. But isn't it just better that you have other options? If you're not clicking with a format, now you have an option to go play a deck that you just enjoy and still potentially make money. When if you didn't like the format and you were just going to play the best deck anyway, even though you didn't like it, so you could try and win, like now you're just forced to play that deck. Like I feel like this is just like way better for everyone. Casual players, competitive players, like I like not seeing these downsides. And maybe I'm crazy. Let me know if you guys think differently.
there are potential downsides. And I was planning on touching on, I think, at least one of them, but I think you kind of transitioned into another one. But I don't think it's a downside for a certain kind of person. I don't think it's a downside. Let me start by saying I agree with you, Cass. I think that overall this is a net positive, because anytime that you can reward people for innovation, reward people for loyalty, reward people for identifying with a character. Like, let's be honest, maining somebody in League of Legends has been a thing since that game came out. So the idea that you could pick somebody and main them in Riftbound just makes sense. Like, that's just good for your target audience. But I'm going to try to use a term that will maybe be the least offensive. I'll say if you're a tourist of Riftbound, it could suck to have to deal with metal hunters. And first of all, I don't even like that term, because not everybody who's playing these lists are doing it solely because of the metal card. They might just really like the character. But what I mean by this is that if you're somebody who plays a lot of different card games and your goal is to bounce around from card game to card game, you get your meta report from, a couple of friends, or you have a testing group, or maybe you follow amazing content creators like The Winning Point, who knows? But if your whole thing is like, I just want to show up at these major events, play the best deck and spike it, the metal hunters are more problematic for that kind of player than somebody who's really into Riftbound. There's a reason that people like Alan and some of these other players are going on the streaks that they're going on. And it's because not only are they good players, but they understand what the fundamental core bits of Riftbound are that make the decisions they're making and the cards they're including be good, right? So if you're somebody who's net decking a list and then you run into something that's not on somebody's Metafy guide and you're like, I don't know what to do against a Leona, you're gonna struggle, right? Like, that's just, so that is one potential negative. It is not what I would describe as tourist friendly. The other negative, and it was something that I was kind of pitching to Pastry before we started recording as a potential negative. And again, I still like the metal best ofs, but if you are somebody who cares about what I'll describe as like the utmost competitive integrity and or a balanced or refined format, the dilution of decks because of the presence of the best ofs might be making it harder to identify either what decks or what cards within decks are problematic. I already know that we've had a lot of people talking about, Draven needs errated, the extremists say Draven needs banned, all of these things. And a lot of times when you are looking at making those kinds of changes to your card game as a designer, as a game developer, you're doing so based on the available data from your big events and from the events where people are trying to compete, so that you can see what the problem is. That becomes harder when some of your biggest events don't have
it's a bunch of fake data.
The best representation, right? If Draven would be half the field, but suddenly, he's only 30% or whatever, just because you get a bunch of people that are trying to get best ofs, it makes it look a lot more palatable, but there might be a bigger underlying problem. So that is a potential downside. You don't know what you don't know, right? It's that fourth quadrant of the Johari window. So I think that at this point, there's no point in stressing over it, but I could see why folks considering that might be upset. But
yeah,
I like the metals.
I like it too. And I also think people just like massively conflate things and like to complain when they're actually like, so first of all, like the fact that they lost RQ winner, the winner from Vegas, is like, yeah, I'm already qualified. I just won. Like, I'm probably gonna like play for a best of in Atlanta. That's hype as hell. Like a very talented player looking to like play maybe like a left field deck just to like do the thing and win the prize,
try,
like that's
yeah.
awesome. And if they do well, because again, they're clearly a good player, like I think that's also sick.
Yeah.
But like the good decks, the quote unquote bad decks aren't even necessarily bad. Like Rek'Sai and Azir bubbled this event. And the Azir player is like literally the Azir guy. He's 2 for 2 on meta, like best of Azirs. Like Jax made top 8. Like, and like, yes, your day one is like maybe going to get a little scuffed with significantly more volatility in matchups, which is already true in a tournament of 1,700 people. It's just always also true.
Only 8 people can top 8.
Yeah, like that, you're already going to hit some weird matchups. People are just going to play the deck they like. People are going to play the cards they own. This happens in literally every card game, especially when the formats get wider. Obviously, the format's not that wide. Like the game doesn't have that many cards in it yet. But like once you get to day 2 and you start getting near the top tables, like if you believe the metagame, if these other bad decks are so bad, like the metagame is going to correct for that by the time you filter down to like X1 and X2. And you're just going to hit the matchups with your deck that you expect to hit anyway. So like if you made day 2 and did well and are playing a quote unquote good deck, like why didn't you top 8 the tournament? Like why did Jax top 8 the tournament? Like there's also more going on and more things that we don't know about Riftbound than like just people trying to win prizes. Like Lucian, I think, was a legitimately good choice for this event. And
I
like
still think it is.
probably got hurt by the fact that there was a little bit more randomness in the metagame and not as much Draven because the deck wants to prey on Draven. But like it's just not true that like I think so many, I guess I'm trying to say mostly that so many of the things people necessarily complain about are problems that are self-corrected within the way the tournament structure works. And there's like a little too much weight being put on these things, quote unquote, like ruining the game when the thing itself is like objectively dope. So like, I don't know, like in the wash, it seems like perfectly fine, especially for an event that's a qualifier. I definitely would maybe feel differently at Worlds, for example, and at a regional, which is, you know, a tier above events like this. But like, given everything that we're trying to do, like no professional League of Legends player is going to complain about like losing to a one trick on the LCS stage. And that one trick's probably not making it. But if the one trick suddenly learns how to play other champions, gets good enough, refines their fundamentals, becomes a professional level League of Legends player, that would be hype. And I think that's also potentially true of people that start in this game as mains and then move on to be professional players. Like in general, I feel like the system balances itself pretty well. And I do recognize downsides, but I think for the most part, like they are either massively conflated and like balanced by other things that are happening. So
I have
interesting
a very
conversation.
Fun, short anecdote to add on to your statement there about a one trick playing their thing and then transitioning to like a top deck.
Are you
and,
the
like,
one
really,
trick?
Like, yeah. So for Flesh and Blood,
one trick in the room right now.
So in Flesh and Blood, I played the game for fun. I was a Leviah player. This deck, if you know Flesh and Blood, this deck is hot ass, really bad, but really fun.
About to get worse.
And yeah, it could be worse. And and it's about to get worse. Yeah, you're right. And I actually had the most Living Legend points on Leviah at the time because I spiked a ProQuest Plus when they still gave 20 points. It was not hard to be the person who had the most. Like at this point, I think Ethan probably does because he's won enough like PQs and things on Leviah to like be there. But I had won a PQ and I'd won a PQ Plus. Back when they is a PTI event is what they were called. They gave 20 points back then. And so I was like advancing that deck with Ethan. People were considering like me and Ethan and like one or two other guys is probably the best Leviahs out there, right? And suddenly I decided I wanted to take the game more seriously. I wanted to actually try and compete. You know, I have this PTI, I have a qualification to a Pro Tour. Like maybe I should actually like, you know, think about competing, especially because the first Pro Tour I went to, I played Leviah. It just didn't go my way. It didn't swing my way. And I was like, I kind of want to give it a shot. So then I swapped to literally the best deck in the format with my team. I was starting to play with a really strong team. I swapped to the best deck in the format, Aurora, and I top a GP is equivalent. I top a calling. And I win for my local pro quests. I win 5 out of 8, and like just it's constant results. And so I think it's really cool when you get a player like maybe we'll see the very best gamer, the Jax who made top 8, swap to like a tier 1 deck in a future meta and top 8 again and like have this really big performance, or a best of player of something else doing the same. And I think that's going to be really cool as we continue to tell the story of early Riftbound, especially the ones who have qualified to like the regionals on their quote unquote best of choice. Maybe they'll show up with the best deck for that regional and win, right? And that's like that. It's super cool, Pastry. I think it's like a really, really good concept that we can continue to follow.
I have so many more thoughts on this that we'll save it for a future episode, because this will certainly be a recurring theme. This is awesome, and as far as I can tell, it's not going anywhere. In fact, I think it's from the production that you guys did, it was really more of a central focus, I think, from the production side, which was awesome, and even the social media side and everything. Like, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on the metal cards, the metal, meddling metal card hunter meta. Let us know in the comment section below on this very video, and we'll talk about it in our mailbag, which is actually coming up right now, our favorite segment of the show. This one is from Ono Fresh Shoots, who says, I noticed in the Bologna regional results that Aurelia and Misfortune, and even some Sivir decks, are running only 5 to 10 units compared to the typical 15 to 20 in decks like Draven or Victor. What's driving this dramatic difference in deck construction? Is this just an archetype specific thing, or does it signal a broader shift in how we should think about the unit to spell ratio in Riftbound?
I'm going to give a 2-word answer to this. My only contribution to this is going to be, it is both. That's 3 words, my bad.
Yeah, 2-word answer. It is both.
But if you, originally I was going to contract to it, so, but I failed.
Fair.
English, unlucky. It's both.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll try to plow through this as fast as I can, because I know we're short on time. But it is both, but it's also because we have more cards. And so one of the things that you strive for whenever you're playing any card game is minimizing your randomness impacting your games. Consistency is key. And with the rise of, the purple filtering, the purple draw, it's going to be a whole lot easier to just run more impactful units as opposed to running units to make up for slow starts or bad hands or whatever. It's also just a difference in the available archetypes, right? Like, yes, Misfortune and Sivir might be running short units as far as like the number, but it also might be because they're Aurora decks where they just need a certain level of, threat density on the top end, and everything else would just get in the way. It's like actively bad. So there's a lot of things going on, but ultimately, I think that you're going to see a lot of variation as we get more and more sets printed, just because there's going to be different ways to make your decks become more consistent. And that's the real goal.
I agree. Is fully draw consistency. Aurora is a good call out. Just wanting to hit Mind Splitter more consistently, and now with the advent of all these purple draw stuff to find your Aurora more easily, you can just kind of do that. And then like even the small unit Victor decks, the like spell Victors, that was just like more good removal being printed. We might see, Victor started putting units back in, but we might see more sets. Victor takes even more units back out because there's enough like spell stuff depending on the meta to actually like deal with everything. And then something like Aurelia is like, okay, she has a chosen champion and a combination of cards that allow her to protect it so incredibly well that because her chosen champion is there, you actually need less total units. So I think it's very specific conditions that come up that there's less units. I don't think it's a widespread thing. It is just archetypal and more consistency through draw currently. You named a bunch of purple decks, and then theoretically Victor, who creates units on a stick with the legend ability, is the other deck that can do it. So we'll see if other colors get more draw, more ways to do this. It might happen in more decks and be more common in the meta. But yeah, right now it's just very specific to like, okay, we can just draw enough cards to make this work.
Yeah, I also think Riftbound has changed in set 2 with like not wanting to have combats as much. Don't want to leave combats stranded for Draven to take and draw cards, which therefore means you need less 2-drops, which therefore means you need to run fewer 2-drops because you're running a lot, not because you want a lot in play necessarily. It's because you want to consistently have them early. Well, you don't really need that. And also, we really have now started to grasp the concept of you start with a unit in your hand, and decks like Lucian and a lot of decks are running Obelisk to be able to run like Draven and other 4-drops on turn 1 when they're going second. Like, utilizing that has become more of a second nature thing in set 2 versus set 1, where I think as a community we were really starting to figure that out. And like some people had it, but it certainly was not the go-to. But really great question, and I think we had some really great answers for it. But that is going to be it for this episode 36, which is still crazy, of the winning point. But let us know what you thought in the comment section below about metal cards, about any of our discussions about RQs. Let us know what you thought. We'd love to get your comment on the next episode in our mailbag. But that is going to be it for this episode. For Casanova, for Charmer, for Pastry, for the whole Turn 'em Sideways crew, I'm Blevins. We'll see you on the next one.